Good morning, and here I am back to this flat with a leaky bay window. As in one of our previous videos, I've shown there been some long-term leak from bad installation that rotted the timbers underneath. As you can see, it's got a long 4x2 on the side, and then it's got supporting one for the pony wall underneath. And we got this long one here, and supporting one is completely disintegrated. Also the sole plate and top plate, it's just completely gone. So I'll need to inspect how far this plate is rotted out. Need to replace whatever needs replacing. I'll take the window out, redo the lead work and refit the window correctly. So yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to try to complete today. Good news is, whatever I did up in the roof, it has stopped the leak. If you remember, this joist here and all that was completely drenched, and above there is EPDM rubber roof that is being not badly installed, I would say horrifically installed. It's a horror. It's undescribable. So anyway, I done a bit of experimenting and different compounds and managed to seal it up, at least temporarily, for a period over the winter, until management company manages to replace the roof. They have promised. That is all in motion, and apparently it will be replaced, fully replaced, and also insulated from above, so it's going to be double insulation. But regards to the window, what management company said, the window itself is leaseholder's responsibility, including the lead below it, and the structure as a stud wall or whatever else, it's their responsibility. So they agreed to pay fraction of the cost of replacement, obviously, for fraction of the cost of this entire work, just for replacement of timber structure, whatever needs to be replaced underneath. So that is it. First thing, gonna prop up the bay and deglaze the frames. Probably deglaze the frames first, it's a bit easier without having props in the way, and then going to prop up and take frames out. Deglazing, as any other time I explained, is on internally beaded windows. It's just using a spatula, like a scraper, filling knife, just going between the frame and a bead and popping that bead up. Another little handy thing, I'm just halfway through taking the beads and mark them up as window 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is 3L for a bead, that one was 3R, 3 top and 3B. So left, right, top and bottom. So I got 1 left, 1 right, 1 top, 1 bottom, 2 left, right, top, bottom, 3, 4, 5 and 6, so on, so I don't get mixed up with the beads. And as previously mentioned in previous videos, always leave the top bead as last, because that one holds the glass in place whilst you're doing the other things. And here we got a date stamp as well, and it's 2017, 2nd of December 2017. So this was installed probably 2018. Bad installation. It's not that long ago, it's about 5 years ago. I thought that it's going to be at least 8 or 10, but it's only 5. Bad. Now the window is fully deglazed. I've removed casements as well to make it easier to handle. And now if you're looking at this, it's like this is inside, that's outside. And what we got here, this was just covered with a little UPVC trim that was loose. That there, it's stud, and it's completely rotten down there in that bottom corner. rotten there. So anything from end of this sill can just go straight there onto the wood. Can't see it here. You can just about see it here, but you can really see it here. This is the damage that it causes. This is the other side. See that? Big gaping hole there. Now, a little disclaimer. I got quite a lot to do today, and days are short, being winter. So basically need to take all this out and put it back together by repairing everything. So I'm not going to be able to do full video on every single step. So every now and again I'm just going to stop and do a little glance over what I did so far. So at the moment using acro props and strong boys supporting each corner of the bay window, because you can see there. So that's now supported both sides, and I can proceed by taking all the fixings that I got from the frames into the corner posts, frames to the top beam, and then nasty old rusty fixings that fixing the frame down to the sill, which should never be allowed. But anyway, got a lot to do. I just separated first corner, and as suspected, there is no sealant along any of these edges. I will inspect this edge here as well, but so far no sealant. This screw here was all rusted, so with a thin kerf angle grinder, just cut a slot in it in the head, and then use flathead screwdriver to extract it without damaging the frame. I just pulled the side frame an inch off, and as you can see, there is no sealant there. No vertical DPC either. Horrible. And with the frame removed, you can see extent of the damage around there. There's a screw and another screw going straight through the lead tray into the stud. And as we know, there's another one here which I can feel and see on underside. Look at that. That's where the water was actually dripping quite rapidly last time we had rain. There is no break between exterior and interior. There should be a vertical DPC as a long soaker behind these tiles, wrapped behind and protecting this timber. And it's the same story on this side. Right, frames out. Let's inspect condition of this lead or whatever is left of the lead. So, sealed against front edge, not allowing water to discharge out, flattened on the back, big holes, split on the end, big nail through it, cut, hole, screw, unsealed joint on the flat, more screw holes, cut across the middle, more cuts. I mean, what kind of window installer does this? Doesn't even seal it up. I mean, could put a bit of silicone there or something. Lead seal. Right, so that's rubbish. Flattened out on the end. Beautiful. Right, this step is now completed. Replaced all the rotten wood, including the plate, put some DPC between the wall and the timber, put some frame fixings. And then all this blackened wood are treated with wood preservative. It's still solid. It's not rotten, but it's blackened up, so I decided not to replace it, but just to treat it. Because there will be fixings between the mesh and the felt that holds the render into this wood. So every time you remove the wood, in a case like this, you're actually weakening fixing of the cement render that has been fixed to stud wall. So less you have to remove, better. I will pump some polyurethane adhesive around these edges between the felt and the timber, just to help it adhere together, because I can't do mechanical fixing from the outside. Well, can't without disturbing render itself. Our next step will be forming and installing lead tray, and then I can put the window back in. And you can see how these strong boys hold the edge of the structure on both sides. And here is rush, and got a tray, welded corners, prettiest, cleated middle section, another cleat here, folded away from the sea front and prevailing wind, another weld there, another weld, weld there, another weld there. So this is now completely upturned tray against the building, back against the what's going to be window board, and against the building on this side. So if any water gets past the window frames and sill, it can go on top of that tray and trickle outside 4 inches overlap. Now, as you can see, having a tray like this, it will do the job. Now, fitting the sill down and screwing it down through this would be absolute murder. Absolute murder. So we're not gonna screw it down. I'm gonna rest that sill and then fiddle with the side windows and get them in place, and that will hold the sill itself. I can fix from the window into the sill, but not through the sill into the lead. That's a big no-no. Now this is the side prepared. I might show it on this side, better against the sun. So I have a soakers, put a lead soaker down on the bottom, so anything blows here will hit the soaker. It's got a return here that can catch water and drip it back down into the tray. And then in between each tile I cut 9-inch long DPC pieces and slid them in between each tile all the way up to their soakers. So then not to be fitted this way, they actually to return with a window frame against the outside. So if you just imagine if my hand is a window frame, once that gets returned, there's nothing can pass from the tiles with the wind blowing in onto this wood and past the frame. It's all going to trickle down this edge and down in the bottom. And then once the frame is installed, I'll just have to trim these to suitable size so I can cover them with a flat UPVC trim. Goes all the way up. And then once it's all finished, when I'm doing outside trimming, I'll have to put another soaker up there off the ladder, 1 or 2, just to stop anything blowing up in this corner here on both sides. And that's pretty much it now. So I'm ready now to start installing window frames. I'm going to start with side ones and then the front one. Before I start actually installing it, I'm going to clean all this, and with installing the frame I'm going to gun some sealant along the back edge and along this edge here, so anything from the window here can't blow further there into the tray. But any little bit of water that can come there, it will be fine because it will discharge with the tray outside. But I want to minimize the amount of water that goes onto that tray. And sun's going down, it's going behind the church. Frames are installed, all plumbed up. You can see all that silicone from the edge between the sill and the frames all squirted out. That's all good. When that goes off, I'll cut it off. Now just I'm ready to start putting glass back on, but before I do that I'm going to do a quick clean up of the frames. They're quite grimy. Already started. You can see what the tissue looks like, so I'm just going to carry on cleaning a little bit, another 10-15 minutes, and then pop the glass back in. And that will be the major work done. After that will be sealing up and everything else. This is just to show our little soakers. I'll have to trim them back for our trim, so they'll have to be trimmed back. I'll have to put trim on the top, like a drip trim, and then window board all the way around. So before I fully glaze them, just to mention, so we got that lead soaker on top of the tray underneath the first tile with a cleat that went curled around to collect any blown in rain or water. Once the frame is in, then I'm just going to seal up the back edge of that and between the window frame and that lead. It doesn't need to go all the way up, but might as well. So now that will, any water that gets blown into this way will be prevented from blowing up through these gaps here, and it's going to hit that lead soaker and trickle down on top of the tray and then discharge down underneath the window there. Discharge there underneath. So there is no way of that rainwater being able to get in, and also any driving wind from here, from this side, let me just put that's it, any driving wind from outside can't blow nothing in because of these sockets, and it can only trickle down to the frame and outside, nothing in here. So basically once frames are installed like this and glazed, you don't have to do any more sealing to make them watertight. They are watertight as they are. Even this bit here that is not fully sealed in, that is watertight as it is. I can guarantee that if we have a storm tonight not a drop of water will come through, guaranteed. So I sealed up that end. Just gonna seal up this end now, and just against between frame and that lead cleat and that bottom soaker. And that's really only place where you can put like a decent amount of silicone on, because, well, you can't really get inside to it, so that's the way to fit it in. And here is 5 o'clock. It's getting dark. Well, it's got dark. All finished. Just gonna clear it up now. I have to realign glass in these opening casements as well, because they've all been dropped. And yeah, put some sticky foam around the edges wherever there was a little gap to stop any cold bridging. And yeah, that's it. Window is done. Gonna put a couple of trims on outside, but that's not gonna be today. It's gonna be either tomorrow or day after. Just to tidy it all up on outside. And that's about it. And then we can proceed with insulating and boarding up inside here. Decision has been made. Gonna do all outside walls as well. So I'm gonna insulate that wall, obviously all around the bay, above the window as well, and then all the way across there and across there. So the power points will have to be raised up and new boxes put in, because we're putting 40mm insulation and 1/2 inch plasterboard, so that's 52.5mm plus some kind of adhesive, probably polyurethane foam. So it's going to end up being like 55-60mm on the wall. So yeah, I got a few bits to do. I'll ask electrician to move that socket into this wall here, perhaps. So we don't encase the cable in insulation, because that would be bad. So I'll have to just disconnect that, and it's coming down this trunking anyway, so I can just put it on that reveal there, in there somewhere. Yeah, looking good. Windows cleaned up as well a bit, and yeah, they're looking almost as brand new windows. That's good. I'm pleased with it. Managed to do all of it in one day. Rip it out, repair the woodwork, new tray, and refit the window. Brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna pack up, get all the tools in the van, and go home for dinner. All the best, guys. See you next time.